everyone, it's Allison. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making two fun cards using the new Nordic die collection from Poppystamps. Now this is actually part of their overall Christmas collection, and this is the first product we're going to be using today, the Nordic Floral plate. And there's the actual plate. It's a cover die. And what's cool about Poppystamps is they include magnets with their die sets like these. So that's really nice. Okay, this cover die is really cool because the elements pop out. And so you see I've cut it out of like 4 different colors of paper, and you can really mix and match and build up dimension and just do some real cool things with this cover plate. I'm going to be doing some more monochromatic, not basic, but more basic things. I have an orange card base that I've created, and you'll see I originally cut out an orange piece of paper with that die, and on the right I have another die cut. I'm leaving it, I had left it in the die so the pieces wouldn't fall out, and I'm putting that card base on top of it. So I had basically put glue on the card base, turned it upside down to pick up this panel so that none of the dies would come out. And now I'm taking the red piece of paper that I had die cut and the other orange piece of paper that I had die cut, and I'm pulling out all the little bits and pieces to build up some dimension and kind of create a pattern. And you can create you know, just one color like this and just build up a dimension, and that would look really cool if you just did your whole background in one color. But I am using 2 colors. Again, I'm going for more of a monochromatic look and just building up a little bit of dimension. And you'll see I made a very, my pattern is very symmetrical because when I'm in a hurry, that's how my brain works. It actually takes me longer to come up with things that are not symmetrical or have a pattern. But this cover plate, it's just so fun. There's so many options and ways that you can do this and build up dimension or don't build up dimension. Now here I had, you know, remember I cut it out of white as well. So I'm just popping in these little white dots to see what I think, but I'm going to wait until I come up with my overall design. So here are the Nordic Squirrels, and again, there's this nice magnet sheet that comes in the die set, and you'll see the squirrels and the little shadow pieces, and then there's this one big die cut that cuts out all the other pieces. So you could cut it all out in white and then ink blend all your colors onto that. I have cut mine out of colors, so I cut it out of this peach color and then a lighter color peach for the little belly, and then I cut it out of white and red again. Now there's 2 different ways to do the tail on these cute guys. There's this little kind of scallop piece over to the left, or you can use these leaves on the right, and I chose to go with the leaves today. So now I'm just gluing my little guy together. And the Nordic collection is amazing. There's foxes, there's bears and doves, and I think a bird, and there's trees. So there are just a lot of dies, and I'm just going to be honest, I wanted them all. You know, when sometimes you see a collection and it just really speaks to you, and this, I don't know, there's something about it that just spoke to me. So it was a very hard choice. Did I want the squirrels? Did I want the foxes? I love bears, so I really wanted the bears. But when it came down to it, I picked the squirrels, and you'll see on the next card, I used the deer for the next card. And again, there are other things in the Poppystamps Christmas collection for this year. I am calling this the Nordic collection, but it's not really the Nordic collection. It's just, there's a lot of these Nordic dies in the release. So look at how adorable this, I'm calling it a little sweater. The little sweater is. And the foxes are just as adorable. Now I have stacked my leaves up. I have a red one stacked behind the white one, and I've kind of offset it to create kind of a little drop shadow effect. And I'm going to glue that on the tail. All right, so I am using this Love sugar script from Birch Press Design. And this is a sub-sentiment from Waffle Flower, the Friends and Family sub-sentiment. So they're basically ready to go. You just tear them off and you can glue them on. Now, because there was so much dimension on this card with the different little elements on the background, I'm gonna just slip a little thin foam square behind the tail and glue on my sentiment. Now, I didn't originally think this was going to be a love card. I was going for winter theme, but it kind of just created itself. I don't know. It just, after I saw the little squirrels facing each other, I just thought, these little squirrels are in love. And so that was not my initial plan at first. Now I'm just kind of coming in and thinking, do I want to add some white elements? And I decided I didn't want to clutter it up. I just really want the squirrels to be the focus. But I did end up putting a few white elements on my final card. I chose to actually, instead of paper, I went with some white enamel dots, and you'll see that in a minute. And so here's the final card. And so all of those little white dots you see, those are actually white enamel dots, little embellishments. And isn't that just so cute? I love those little squirrels. All right, so for the second card, I've used the die to create a navy panel, and I glued that onto a navy card base. And remember, I had cut a green panel at the beginning, and I've popped all the little elements out of this. So now I'm just going to glue this on top of the blue. And so this is just a really easy way to use this panel as well. I could just leave it like that. But all those little green pieces that I had popped out, I'm going to come back in with kind of the inner pieces. So you'll still see part of the blue design, and you'll see the green design. And so here that is, I've glued those all on. And like I had mentioned before, these are the Nordic Deer. And these deer are just beautiful. And again, here's the magnet sheet. So just like the squirrels, there are two deer. They can face each other on your card. For this card, I'm just going to use one deer. And just like the squirrels, there's this big piece that cuts out a bunch of the elements. So again, you could just cut it out of white cardstock and color your white cardstock with ink. So I decided to make my deer white, and so you can use, again, the leaves to decorate your deer, or there's this little, I'm going to, again, call it a sweater, or I don't know, just these really beautiful little die cuts. And I'm trying to figure out what color antlers I want. So I'm just kind of testing out different colors of antlers, and eventually I'm going to just glue the red antlers on top of the navy. I'm not really going for a drop shadow effect. I just want them stacked for dimension. And my shadow, I used the navy cardstock. So here I decided I really just need to glue my antlers on first. So I'm positioning the deer on the shadow piece first. Now I'm coming in with the back legs. So there's this little back leg piece, and I'm positioning them so that I know where that back piece needs to go. And this is how I decided to do it. I'm keeping that in place and just slipping a little bit of glue behind the top. And then I'm coming in with glue on a little piece of paper, and I can slip that piece of paper kind of behind the legs. And again, this is just the easiest way for me to position those back legs exactly where they needed to be, so that when I glue this top piece on, it's just kind of perfectly positioned. And again, I just think this deer is so beautiful. And I really wanted to use those leaves to decorate him, but I just can't resist this cute little, I don't know, is it a sweater? That's what I'm calling it. So I'm doing navy, red, and green for these elements on the deer. And obviously we're going for a Christmas card this time with these colors. And so for dimension, I just glued a blue one down first and glued that green piece on top. For my sentiment, I'm using the large Joy die from Simon Says Stamp. This is one of my favorite word dies for the holidays. And I have put these white little pieces of paper from that white die cut in here. So on the first card, remember I used enamel dots. This time I'm just putting these dots right into these little holes. And now it's just time to glue on the deer. And I have stacked the Joy 3 times. So I cut it out of red cardstock 3 times. And so it's nice and dimensional, and I'll just glue that on, and you'll see in the final card I did add a sub-sentiment. The wishing you I just found in my stash. I have so many stamps for the holidays that either say wishing you a Merry Christmas or even birthdays, wishing you a happy birthday. So I just partial stamped, you know, something from my stash, and there you go. And like I said, I'm just in love with these dies. You'll actually see more from me on this collection because I did get, there's a snowman in the collection. So if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen this ornament that I made already. And I do have a link to my Instagram account below, as well as a link to all the supplies. I thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.